A major fire has broke out at Delhi's prominent market, Delhi Hart. 12 fire tenders are at the spot. At least 30 stalls have been gutted in fire so far. No reports of any casualty has come in. We also have my reporter Anushka joining us from Delhi Hart Market. Anushka, take us through the updates. Has the fire been doused? But before I go to Anushka, we also have Delhi Minister Kapil Mishra reacting on the fire. He visited the spot and met the people there.
देखिए, हमें जैसे ही आग की घटना की जानकारी मिली है, हमारा दमकल विभाग, हमारे अधिकारी और मैं खुद भी यहाँ पर आया हूँ। 26 दुकानें जलकर राख हो गई हैं और फूड प्लाजा की तरफ और भी कुछ दुकानों का नुकसान हुआ है। और यहाँ पर हम जो भी आर्टिजन्स हैं जिनकी दुकानों का नुकसान हुआ है, मुख्यमंत्री रेखा गुप्ता जी ने मुझे यहाँ भेजा है। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, हम उनके साथ खड़े हैं। आपकी दुकान भी दोबारा लगेगी, आपके नुकसान की भी भरपाई की जाएगी। ये जिम्मेदारी सरकार की है और इसके साथ साथ आग लगने के कारण आग ठीक समय पे तुरंत बुझाने की जो भी कमियां रही होंगी उनकी जांच भी करेंगे और दोषी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई भी करेंगे।
There you go, Delhi Minister saying compensation will be given to the stall owners at the Delhi Hart Market and a probe will be initiated in the firing incidents. We also have the reaction of an eyewitness coming in. Take a look.
Started from probably 8:50. We were sitting and having some food and then people rushed. This is towards the end of the Delhi Hart and it seemed like a major fire which went out of control and the fire brigade has also taken about 15-20 minutes to get here and then also they were not able to... One of the Gaadis came here but it wasn't able to douse the fire because of some complication and it's a big fire. It's still going on. A lot of traders have lost their goods already and possibly there are also some cylinder blasts.
And my colleague Anushka Garg joins me right from Delhi Hart Market where the fire broke out. Anushka, take us to the details. How much loss are we seeing at the site?
That's right, Aditi. The fire was quite major. It erupted at around 8:55 p.m. is what the fire services have told us. We are showing you the visuals from the spot here. What we are looking at is, ashes worth crores of rupees. The artisans whose shops were in fact here, the fire took place and destroyed everything. This is what is left over of this whole area. The whole fire took place at the rear end of the Delhi Hart. This is a very prominent place. Not just people from Delhi, but also people from outside come here to visit because it's a very iconic place in Delhi. And the fire erupted, which has in fact, incurred a loss of crores of rupees. We also have some shopkeepers with us whose shops got gutted here in the fire that took place. Sir, आपका नाम क्या है?
धर्मेंद्र।
आपकी यहीं पर शॉप लगी थी?
यहाँ पर दुकान है दिल्ली हाट में मेटल का। हाँ जी, ये INA दिल्ली हाट में स्टेज का एरिया है। यहाँ पर 25 दुकानें ये और कुछ दुकानें और थीं। यहाँ पर लगभग 8:35 पर एक चिंगारी दिखाई दी। सभी दुकानदार लोग, जबकि उस टाइम में टूरिस्ट काफ़ी थे, डोमेस्टिक भी थे और फॉरेनर भी थे, और एक साइड मेमोरियल जो कलाम मेमोरियल है उस साइड के अंदर से PNG की पाइपलाइन आती है गैस की। वहाँ पर सब ने जो फायर आग बुझाने वाली जो सिलेंडर हैं उससे उसको बुझाने की पूरी कोशिश करी, लेकिन पीछे से गैस की सप्लाई थी PNG की, जिसकी वजह नाकाम रहे। सब दुकानदारों ने मिलकर सबसे पहले अपनी दुकान को, माल को छोड़कर पहले टूरिस्टों को बचाया, जान पर खेल कर अपना नुकसान झेल लिया। लाखों का नुकसान हो गया। आप यहाँ पर अपने फुटेज के अंदर अब देखिए, यहाँ पर वीडियो के अंदर कुछ भी नहीं बचा, बिल्कुल जीरो। बेटे साइड हो जाओ, ये देखिए कुछ भी नहीं बचा है।
CCTV कैमरा देखेंगे ना, उसके बाद पता चलेगा कितना नुकसान हुआ है। जैसे सुबह की दिन भर की CCTV कैमरा देखोगे उसके बाद पता चलेगा। अभी तो क्या पता चलेगा, कुछ भी नहीं, सब खत्म है, बिल्कुल सारा खत्म। ये हाथ पर सारे फूटे पड़े चलाते पे, क्या करेंगे, सब हो गया। कोई
एक भी कैजुअलिटी यहाँ पर दुकानदारों ने मिल करके कोई नहीं होने दी, अपना नुकसान कर लिया, अपना झेल लिया। अभी कपिल मिश्रा जी आए थे तो उन्होंने यहाँ पर सारा देखा, MD भी आई, उन्होंने भी विजिट करा और देखने के बाद के अंदर उन्होंने जो होना चाहिए मानवीय अधिकार आधार पर सबका मुआवजे के लिए वो घोषणा करके गए कि सब दुकानदारों को यहाँ पर मुआवजा मिलेगा।
आपका नाम क्या है सर?
मनोज कुमार।
आपकी भी शॉप है?
जी हाँ।
किस चीज की शॉप थी?
कश्मीरी दुकान में।
कश्मीरी की दुकान। हाँ। यानी कि आप लोग पश्मीना शॉल्स वगैरह?
जी हाँ, सारा नुकसान हो गया, सारा खत्म हो गया,
कुछ भी नहीं। आपका पूरा
कुछ भी नहीं बचा। ये हमारे भैया हैं, इनका पूरा लॉस हो गया है पूरा नुकसान हो, लेकिन इन्होंने लोगों का बचाने का काम किया है और अपना नुकसान झेला है।
आपका नाम क्या है सर?
एक्चुअली मेरे गला था थोड़ा लग गया, इंटरव्यू दे देते हैं। नन्ना जी मट्टू।
सर हम देख रहे हैं कि बहुत सारे दुकानों में आग लग गई, एक दुकान आपकी भी।
सारी दुकानों में आग लगी। ये हमारी दुकान है, यहाँ पे जितनी भी दुकानें सब में आग लगी। आग ऐसे लगी कि कोई सुविधा नहीं थी, एक्चुअली यहाँ लोग बहुत थे। हमने लोगों को बचाने, छोटे छोटे बच्चे भी थे, हमने बच्चों को कोशिश की कि बच्चे बाहर निकल जाएं। बच्चों को, छोटा बच्चा एक बेचारा गिर गया, हमने उठा के उसको वहाँ रख दिया, पता नहीं कहाँ गया, कब गया। इतनी देर में तो यहाँ से आग लगी, यहाँ से तो पूरा फैल गया, सारी आग लगी, कुछ बचा ही नहीं जो हमने कमाया।
We are showing you the visuals. The fire brigade, fire tender team right now also trying to cool off the whole area. The fire took place around 8:55 p.m. around evening, and this is what this whole place looks like right now. Major loss of crores of rupees has happened here at the fire incident that took place. Kapil Mishra did visit here, and he has promised that the compensation will be given to every shopkeeper whose shop was at this particular area. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anushka, for giving us those updates. Delhi government's swift action after this fire broke out. Delhi government has assured that compensation will be given and probe will be done in the cause of fire. Why did it take place? Shifting our focus to other stories that we are tracking. In a major decision, the Modi government has announced that caste data will be included in the next census exercise in a transparent manner and slammed the opposition parties for using caste survey as a political tool. However, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, termed the caste census as a victory of opposition as it forced the government to finally accept the opposition's long-standing demand. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
Caste census, we have been fighting now for some time. Government has opposed. For some reason, we don't understand what that reason is. They have suddenly decided to do it. We welcome that. We are happy that they have done the caste census. We have put enough pressure on the government to get the caste census done. We want a date by when it's done. We are going to put pressure on the government to make sure that 50% cap is destroyed.
कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन के नेताओं में श्रेय लेने की होड़ लगी हुई है। मैं श्री राहुल गांधी जी से पूछना चाहता हूं, पहले जवाब देना होगा कांग्रेस ने क्यों नहीं की जातिगत जनगणना। कांग्रेस ने हमेशा जातिगत जनगणना का विरोध किया। झूठ बोलना और भ्रम फैलाना ये कांग्रेस के डीएनए में है।
This is a battle of narrative. This will be a battle of, credit taking. What is the mood on ground among your constituents? Do you think the NDA and the BJP will have an advantage in Bihar?
Of course, I think the NDA and the BJP will have an advantage, and I think the public in general is very enthusiastic. They are very excited because I think this is one demand that has been going on in the country for a very long time. And needless to say, Bihar has paved the way for the entire country. Caste census was rightly done under the leadership of our Chief Minister, Mr. Nitish Kumar. And our party's national president, Shri Chirag Paswan ji, has also continuously advocated for a caste census despite any obstacle that came the way. So there's a lot of enthusiasm and there's a lot of excitement, and we're just hoping that this is a historic decision and it will, contribute significantly in our the dream of Viksit Bharat, the sankalp of Viksit Bharat that we have. This decision will contribute to it significantly.
Yes, Shambhavi, the fact is that Bihar had a caste survey in 2017. At that time, it was a Mahagathbandhan government with Nitish Kumar as the chief minister. Today, Tejasvi Yadav says that they have shown the way to the center, that it was under their pressure that along with standing demand of the RJD and the India bloc, including Rahul Gandhi and others, have been implemented. So you should be ready to share the credit for this decision.
I think it's very petty of anybody to try to take credit of something that is so large and something that's going to impact so many people. It's a decision for the country, and all the credit goes to our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, because I think it takes courage to take such decisions, and he has that courage. Tejasvi Yadav, I'm sure, does a lot of He's trying to, project it as if it was his decision. But key NDA allies like Janata Dal United and Lok Jan Shakti Party have also continuously advocated for it. So it will be, I think it will be very unfair and limited to say that this was an opposition demand. This was the country's demand, and all representatives of the people have continuously requested our Prime Minister to include the caste census in the population census.
Professor Manoj Jha is our RJD MP. Professor Jha, really appreciate your time. A year and a half ago, and we'll be playing a part of that speech as well, Professor Jha, you had said in a speech that it is only this government which can implement caste census. So are we to believe that you also understood the political will Prime Minister Modi can display, or was it also about the numerical strength that the government had and has, and hence because of that power it can go ahead with the decision of this nature today?
Maria, let me make a very small modification in your statement. I had not said the government can do it. I said the government will have to do it. Now, why did I say that? Because something which I have been saying, I said it in the parliament also, that an idea which has arrived, you cannot set it aside. Caste census was an idea. I think the voices began from 1978, 79, particularly after the Mandal Commission, when it had to rely on 1931 census. At the subterranean level, these voices were there. Subsequently, it was amplified by Laluji, late Mulayam Singh ji, late Sharad Yadav ji, and I would say even leaders like Gopinath Munde from within the BJP. Hence, 2011 census was agreed upon that they'll have an amalgamation, the data of which never saw the light of the day. Now, when I had said that, because after that in Bihar, when Tejaswi ji came to power for 17 months, it was done through its own resources. BJP tried to block it. They went to the extent of saying, kept on saying till late, that caste census will increase casteism. I mean, without understanding the sociological, anthropological implications of it. I'm very glad that the Bahujan will has ensured cutting across almost all political parties started understanding the implication, the importance of this live data, contemporary data of scientific nature, which will help state governments and union governments to have a very focused development priorities and policies.
Professor Jha, let's look at Bihar in particular, because 6 months to go for Bihar elections. Many are seeing this as a decision which has been taken keeping the upcoming Bihar elections on mind. What do you think is the political impact going to be on Bihar?
Well, Prime Minister is free to take this decision. Even then we'll welcome it. If he has done it, keeping in view in Bihar election, there is something core ideology. The core ideology of BJP is not in sync with these kind of issues which impact the subaltern grammar, subaltern priorities. We had been raising it, DMK had been raising it, of late Congress also was raising it. Importance is, let's not look at it through the election lens. These are the decisions, and I tell you, historic decisions have been taken in this country in different kind of phases. For this decision to hold a caste census, this idea had arrived in a big way. Prime Minister and his party was in a denial mode. They kept on saying that we don't need it. It will enhance casteism. And we kept on arguing that, look, this will put an end to caste-based discrimination and denial. I am glad Honorable Prime Minister has seen the brighter side of this issue, thanks to the leaders who had been speaking about caste-based census and the urgency of it.
Now, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and DMK Chief M.K. Stalin reacts to caste census announcement by the centre. He questioned the timing of the announcement and linked it to the upcoming elections in Bihar. He said, and I quote, "The timing is no coincidence. With social justice dominating the Bihar elections narrative, this sudden move reeks of political expediency." The same Prime Minister who once accused opposition parties of dividing people on caste has now yielded to the very demand. This is the reaction coming in of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. My colleague Sam Daniel has more details.
While MK Stalin calls this a hard-earned victory for the DMK and for the India alliance, he has questioned the timing, saying that it's no coincidence that it comes before the Bihar elections where social justice has become a key issue. He has also taken on the Prime Minister for calling this demand as divisive earlier, and now under political compulsions has accepted this and a demand which he had maligned earlier. And MK Stalin calls this a hard-earned victory, but has also questioned the lack of a clear timeline given by the centre in terms of when the exercise of the caste enumeration and the census would start and when would this conclude. The larger political picture for Tamil Nadu, of course, is this comes 1 year before the assembly elections, and certainly the state which had adopted assembly resolution asking the centre to go for caste-based census has now taken this as a kind of victory for it and would hope to also reap electoral benefits. Tamil Nadu had earlier refused to go for the survey as done by other states, saying that only the centre is empowered to do this exercise that will be legally valid and acceptable.
With that, we are slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. More news lined up on the other side. And after the Pahalgam terror attack, India has officially shut down its airspace for all the flights coming in from Pakistan. Pak Airlines, however, in any case, were avoiding Indian airspace after they shut down their airspace for the Indian Airlines. More details with my colleague Vishnu Shom.
So India has issued what's called a NOTAM, which is a notice to airmen in this context, shutting down our airspace for all Pakistan registered, operated or leased aircraft, which includes airlines and obviously military flights. Significantly, there's a date given to this, the 30th of April to the 23rd of May this month. So it's a period of less than a month that India has done this. This can, of course, be extended as well. But it does send a very strong signal to Pakistan that, look, you are not welcome in our airspace. And this follows, obviously, a move made by Pakistan to shut down its airspace after all the diplomatic measures which India took. Pakistan, as you rightly mentioned, has decided to, airlines in Pakistan or Pakistan-owned airlines have decided to avoid Indian airspace in any case. So, for example, Pakistan International Airlines has been operating their Islamabad to Kuala Lumpur flights, flying, across Chinese airspace before they come down south. So they were avoiding Indian airspace in any case, but that airspace has now been shut down. But I think it is an important step, whether or not this, it is important also because it avoids any confusion in the event of any hostilities breaking out between India and Pakistan. There shouldn't be a scenario in which any civilian flight believes that they have overflight rights and are flying across, North India or parts of India. So that being the case, this is an important move which has been taken. It's the latest setback in a sense to Pakistan. They've now been told that they can't operate over Indian airspace.
And a petition has been filed in Supreme Court on terrorist attack in Pahalgam. The hearing will take place tomorrow in the top court. Now, Supreme Court will be hearing tomorrow the PIL that has been filed on terrorist attack in Pahalgam. This petition has demanded the formation of a judicial commission headed by a retired Supreme Court judge to investigate the Pahalgam attack. Apart from this, the petition has also demanded to direct the centre, Jammu and Kashmir government, CRPF, NIA to prepare an action plan to ensure the safety of citizens in the tourist areas of Jammu and Kashmir. The petition says that the court should direct the central government to form an SIT to ensure accountability for this attack. We'll take a look at what my colleague Nupur Dogra reported on it.
Well, it is likely to be taken up tomorrow in the Supreme Court after 10:30. However, the exact time is not yet given when it will be taken up. But what is important is that this petition is seeking not only a judicial commission headed by a Supreme Court judge to investigate the Pahalgam attack, but it is also seeking a direction to center and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, to CRPF, to NIA, to prepare an action plan to ensure safety of citizens in the tourist areas in Jammu and Kashmir. We already know that the government is in action on all these fronts. Government is already has taken steps to ensure that tourist areas are secured, especially when it comes to Kashmir. And it will be important to see that how Supreme Court reacts to this petition, because of late Supreme Court has been making remarks that it would not want to unnecessarily appear to be interfering with the executive and legislature's domain. So it will be important to see how judges respond to this PIL that today has been admitted by the Supreme Court Registrar.
And now, in a major move from India, the Director Generals of Military Operations of India and Pakistan spoke via hotline following Pakistan's unprovoked firing along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, during this conversation, the Indian Army is said to have issued a strong warning to Pakistan over the ceasefire violations. These exchanges occurred against the backdrop of rising tensions between the two countries in the wake of the recent Pahalgam terror attack. Meanwhile, the Cabinet Committee on Security, headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, met today in Delhi amid speculations about India's possible retaliation to the Pahalgam terrorist attack in view of its cross-border linkages. Union Home Minister Amit Shah chaired a high-level meeting at his residence to discuss India's suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty. The meeting was attended by Union Jal Shakti Minister C.R. Patil. This move comes amid heightened diplomatic and strategic concerns regarding water-sharing agreements with Pakistan. Now, future course of action was discussed during this meeting. My colleague Vasudha Venugopal has more details.
That was held on the 23rd of April. India had decided to put the Indus Water Treaty on hold, and after that several things have happened. It was all part of this diplomatic offensive that India launched against Pakistan. Today was the second most important meeting because remember Pakistan has also reacted very strongly to this, saying that this is an act of war and they will not let this happen. What I understand is that a series of diplomatic as well as legal options are being considered, because Pakistan has already decided to look at permanent court of disputes. It's also decided to approach World Bank and International Court of Justice. The government has already, decided and sort of analyzed that none of these bodies are capable of mediating into disputes, that they are not keepers of treaties. So it is safe on that front. This meeting between Amit Shah and C.R. Patil is also to understand the middle and long-term planning of the abeyance of IWT to ensure what kind of storage capacities do we need and how much India can also now use both the eastern and western rivers, which a lot of limitations were seen during the implementation of the treaty, but how the abeyance of this treaty can actually help India and harm Pakistan. So a lot of future plans were discussed, is what I've been told.
With that, we are slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching NDTV.